In this episode of Pop Culture Weekly, it's all about The Stranger. I talked to Dane DeHaan from there and the cast of Apple TV Plus's The Big Door Prize. Let's go.
Welcome to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon from iHeartRadio. Your pop culture news, views, reviews, and celebrity interviews on all the movies, TV, music, and pop culture you crave weekly. Here's Kyle McMahon.
Hello, and welcome to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon. I, of course, am Kyle McMahon, and I thank you so much for hanging out with me and talking and discussing and hanging out all about pop culture. So this episode, we've got some great interviews. I talk with Dane DeHaan once again, this time about The Stranger, which is really good. We have a pretty lengthy discussion about that. I also talk with the cast of Apple TV Plus's The Big Door Prize. Season 2 is out, and I talk to the cast once again, including Chris O'Dowd, Gabrielle Dennis, Josh Segarra, Ali Maki, and David West Reed. So it is a full episode with a lot of great interviews. So let's hop right into it. First up, let's talk with Dane. So the film, The Stranger, this was originally on Quibi. You may remember back when Quibi debuted, I did a lot of work with them. And that was an interesting experiment that didn't necessarily work, but I liked it, and they ended up shutting down. But that's all right. A lot of the content went to other places, and The Stranger is one of them. So The Stranger now is available exclusively on Hulu. It's a great series. It's a crime thriller, one of those kind of things, where the premise is that a rideshare driver is thrown into her worst nightmare when a mysterious passenger enters her car, and her terrifying, heart-stopping ride with the stranger unfolds over 12 hours as she navigates L.A. in a chilling game of cat and mouse. Dane plays Carl and does an incredible job. You may know Dane as Billy the Kid in The Kid. He was in Oppenheimer as Kenneth Nichols, Valerian in Valerian and a City of Thousand Planets, Lockhart in A Cure for Wellness, Harry Osborn and Green Goblin in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and so many other great projects. I talked to him back in 2021 for Stephen King's Lissy's Story, which was really great as well. So let's just get right into my talk about The Stranger on Hulu with Dane DeHaan. Well, first of all, Dane, thank you for speaking to me about The Stranger. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
So tell me a bit, it has an interesting journey, this project, where originally it was on Quibi as kind of these, chopped up into mini episodes. Now it is, you're seeing it as a full film. What is that like for you as an actor, to see a project kind of take on two different lives?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's surprising, but I'm really happy for Vina, the director. I mean, I think she put a lot of time and energy into this project. And so the fact that, and she obviously continues to, and it's something she's passionate about. So I'm really happy that, mostly for her, I'm happy that it's getting a second or third life or whatever, and people are going to finally get the chance to maybe more eyes on it than has been in the past.
And when you originally, back in, I guess it was like 2020 or something that it debuted on Quibi, and obviously you had filmed it before that. What originally drew you to The Stranger?
First of all, the director, I think Vina has made incredible things before, like The Killing. And, I think that talking to her, I really trusted her. She seemed to have a really strong sense of story and character. And so when I read the script, it seemed like this character that was just going to be like a lot of fun. I've played bad guys in the past, but there was something just purely evil about this character that seemed like something I can indulge in. And, it seemed like yeah, it just seemed like it was going to be a lot of fun. Like, sure, it's scary, it's a thriller, but I think it was something that made me laugh along the way, and I think there's laugh moments in there anyway. And to have that freedom to just like indulge in something and let it fly, like I knew we were going to have a fun time.
And for the actual filming, a lot of it, there's a great chunk that takes place in a car. How is that as an actor? Like, I feel like it's kind of, I mean, I don't know. I'm not an actor, but like, is that a challenge to kind of like be sitting and filming that whole time? Like, is it different than, or is it just like another day in the life of an actor?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like most TV shows or movies have something that takes place in a car. So, there's an impressive set of rigs that you can have on cars. That is some of the most interesting part of being on a set and filming in it. But every scene takes place somewhere. So
That's
if
true.
it's in a car, that's fine. I wouldn't say it presents a different kind of challenge. It's just the place you're in that day.
Okay. And, as you're reading the script, I mean, I know watching it both times that I'm like on the edge of my seat, Are you drawn to that as well? So, and what I mean by that is like, do you see it as you're reading? Are you reading it like with like fresh eyes, or are you reading it as an actor? In other words, can you enjoy like how I get like that edge of your seat, like, oh, I can't wait till the next part? Or are you seeing it more methodically as you read it?
No, I think this one especially read as an incredibly enjoyable and compelling and an edge of the seat kind of ride. I think the story in it is strong, and it's a lot of fun. It was fun to read and it's fun to watch, and I think that came through. I mean, when I read a script, I'm sure the character that I'm playing is incredibly important. The director is incredibly important, but the story is important too. Like, you want to make something that people are going to see and people are going to enjoy for whatever reason. And the reasons people are going to enjoy this, they came through crystal clear from the first read.
Mm. When you're done rapping, obviously oftentimes there's promo tours and, you're doing all kinds of interviews and premieres and that sort of thing. Did you ever think, when you wrapped this and originally, like, okay, like, in other words, when you were done with that chapter and you moved on to the next project, did you ever think, okay, this could take on a whole new life at another time? Or are you just kind of, you're done that part of your work, that part of your, journey as an actor, and I'm on 17 other different projects at this point, or like, was it a surprise for you when you got the call that, oh, this is getting a whole new life now?
I was surprised when I found out that it was gonna like be on Hulu. I think it's exciting. I think it's cool. But yeah, we made it in 2019, and it was on Quibi, which no one really knew what was going to happen to Quibi. I think one of the questions a lot of people had, which I think was a smart question to have at the time, was, well, if Quibi doesn't work, what's going to happen to all this content? And because they had like $1 billion or something. I mean, they were making a ton of stuff. And I'm sure there's still a ton of stuff out there that, could have a second life. I think we're at a time in our business where like, I'm all about creating like new content. Like, let's make new stories. Like, in this post-strike world, like, it feels like things are slow to get going. So I understand why you would want to like have material that's already been made and can be re-released as a movie, and that's cool and exciting. But I'm all about creating new content, but that question back then, and when we made it in 2019, like that question of what's going to happen to all this stuff if Quibi doesn't work, it is a question we all had, and I'm super excited for Vina that this one's getting another go at it.
Yeah, it's so when I originally I worked with Quibi when they launched to hype it up and talk about it, and I loved the content. And actually, this was one of the ones that I was really drawn to, with the launch of Quibi, because it's just such a compelling project, and I loved it, and I love it, and it's such a edge of your seat, and it's so twisty and layered, and there's just so much good stuff to it that when I saw that that this project was coming to Hulu, I was just like, that is so cool, because as you said, now it gets a wider release, more opportunity for more people to see. Such a cool project,
Yeah, totally. I'm stoked about it. I know it's Vina has never lost her passion for it. She's always tried to keep it going. After Quibi went away, I know it's been to like horror film festivals, and I think it may have been on like Tubi or something. So it's something that she's still passionate about. She still believes in, and it was her passion about the project that was like most appealing about it to me from the start. So, I hope billions of people watch it. I hope people love it. I hope people fall in love with it all over again. I mean, that would be like a wild scenario. That's something I made like 5 or 6 years ago. All of a sudden people are watching, and is like, I hasn't been a part of my life for so long, but like, sure, have at it, go watch it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Absolutely. It reminds me when I was a kid of, a lot of these movies would find, maybe they got crowded out at the box office, but then like when the DVD or the Blu-ray hit or whatever, it would find like this whole new life, and it kind of reminds me of that, like, another version of that where, Quibi didn't necessarily as a whole, work. I loved the idea, but now you have a project like this that's so great that can find a whole new audience, and it really reminds me of that like kind of exciting time where no art really ever dies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hope so, man. But yeah, I hope people just like gobble it up.
Dane, thank you so much for speaking with me. I can't wait for everybody to see The Stranger exclusively now on Hulu. Thanks for speaking with me again.
Thanks, man.
Of course. Dane DeHaan. It's always great talking with Dane. He's such a talented actor. I love how he puts himself into his roles. He's so intense and just a really, really great guy as well. So thanks, Dane, once again for chatting with me. And The Stranger is available right now on Hulu. Make sure you watch it and hit me up on socials. Let me know what you think. We're going to take a 60-second break to pay the bills. Hang out with me, and I'll see you in 60. All right. Thank you for allowing us to pay the bills. Our sponsors allow us to continue to bring you great content each and every episode, and we can't thank them enough, and I can't thank you enough for hanging out with me as always. You guys are the best. So up next, the Big Door Prize on Apple TV Plus, which if you haven't seen the first season, I highly, highly recommend it. It's based on the book, The Big Door Prize, and it's got a pretty kind of interesting premise where it revolves around this grocery store of a small town where this kind of machine just magically appears, and it seems to be able to predict the life potential of those who use the machine. Chris O'Dowd stars as Dusty. He is amazing in everything he does, including Bridesmaids and The Cloverfield Paradox, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. He is a Emmy Award winner for his role in State of the Union, and so I'm excited to talk to him once again. Up first, we talk with David West Reed, who is the executive producer, and he developed the Big Door Prize for the television screen. David was the executive producer on Schitt's Creek, which is an amazing series if you haven't watched that. And he won an Emmy Award for it for Outstanding Comedy Series. So let's talk with David about the Big Door Prize. Here he is, David West Reed. Thank you so much for joining me, David. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, first of all, congratulations on season 2. I have really enjoyed it. What was it like for you? You got the second season go, knowing that you could expand the story.
Yeah, that was a really fun opportunity because obviously the series is based on a book by Emma Walsh, but the book has this ending, and our series could not have an ending at the end of season 1, so we had to really open it up and go off-roading with the story, and find what was the next stage for all of these characters and also the next stage for this mysterious machine.
And how did you, and, I was thinking as I was the cast that, and yourself that I'm interviewing today, how do I do this without being, with being completely spoiler free? So know that as I try to talk to you with this, bouncing over bombs, how did you decide, staying true to the original source work? How did you expand it in the spirit of, the work, but leading it in ways that it didn't go in?
Right. Well, we knew that, what was so great about the original book is this core concept of people in a small town being confronted by the idea of their potential or their destiny by this machine that gives them cards that tells them if everything went right with your brain and your body, this is what you could become. So we wanted to continue to ask those questions. What does it mean to be happy? What does it mean to achieve your potential? But obviously, we didn't want to just have more cards. That would feel very flat. And we wanted to escalate things and really makes the second season even more exciting than the first. So that's where we came up with this idea that the machine would go to this next level that would give people these visions without giving too much away, that tell them something about their lives and themselves and who they are and who they could be, that are a little less clear than the first season, and that not everyone necessarily likes what they see, and it sends them spiraling in different directions, which is where we get not only our drama, but a lot of the comedy in the second season.
And for you, if you had your own Morpho Machine, I'm sure you get asked this a lot, but would you want to know, and would you do anything with that info, or would you stay away from it? What would you do?
I think I might resist for a while, like Dusty, and I probably would find it just irresistible eventually, because even if you think you are happy and doing what you should be doing and having fun, as I am, the idea of what is that other path that might have been imagined for me, or if I had taken a different turn, is something that I think everyone is drawn to.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to resist at some point. Thank you so much. Congratulations on season 2. It's such a great show. And thanks for speaking with me, David.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
David West Reed, awesome guy, extremely talented. I love Schitt's Creek, and I love the Big Door Prize as well. And I think you will too. Season 2 really, as he mentioned, has to deviate from the book because, the book ended. And I love what he's done with those deviations. I think you will too. All right, up next, let's talk with Gabrielle Dennis and Allie Maki. How are you both? Thank you both so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Congratulations on season 2. I love the show, and I can't wait for everybody to see it. What was it like for you both? Season 2, and this is hard because I'm trying to be as spoiler-free as possible, but season 2, the source material is essentially finished in certain ways. Season 2 was kind of new territory. What is it like as actors to kind of venture into new territory like that?
Oh, it's always fun to play in new sandbox. I think what's great is although we pick up exactly where we left off in season 1 at the top of season 2, the journey all of us get to take is different. We get to play with different individual actors and different scenarios and relationships and dynamics. So it's really fun just exploring those different, different avenues, right?
I think for my character, it's always been new source material in a sense, because I think I was almost deliberately, but also working with Dave, trying to discover as the character discovers, and there's a lot I still don't know about Hana, so it's always been fun to kind of peel back her layers and be like, what's happening? Wait, what? This is what's going on with her? So it's very fun. It's always been such an exploration.
Do you, as a non-actor, as a viewer, I would imagine, as I'm watching it, I'm kind of loving every new kind of twist and turn and that sort of thing. As an actor, as you're reading the script, do you get that same excitement, or are you like hyper-focused on your role, or how does that work?
Well,
go, yeah.
For me, I try, especially if I'm a fan of something and I like to watch it as a viewer, I try to honestly avoid as much as I can, because it's such a treat. Like when I watched season 2, it was like, like I can actually enjoy it as a viewer and like not either just don't remember it from a table read or just wasn't there present in the presence of it being filmed to like really be dialed into it. But like, and even the stuff with myself, like by the time you add music and you add lighting and the way they edit things, it feels different than just, the 3D version of us being on set and like doing our work. It is such a beautiful thing to see the culmination of all the pieces come together, because everyone's role is so important. Sound, color correction, everything like comes together. Yeah, everything comes together at the end of the day. And I think that is what I think as audiences, I think as an actor, maybe I wouldn't have, I know that now, but I think as a viewer, I probably wouldn't compute like how important all of these little elements help tell the story. You know what I mean? And so for me, it's exciting.
Yeah, I think it just really speaks to Dave's world building. He's so amazing at creating these rich, beautiful characters, and I think we're all fans of each other. And I remember at the end of season 1, after the table read, so many of the cast were like, we had no idea that Hana had anything to do, and I loved, kind of keeping that secret, and I know Dave did too, of just like that reveal. I think even you were like, wait, I had no idea. Yeah. So I think we're all fans of each other's characters, of what's going on in their world.
I love that. And finally, if you had a Morpho Machine, what do you think it would reveal about each of you?
What I think.
Oh, gosh. I know. I'm like, what I think. I'm crazy.
I think that for me, like, I just would want something to, end of the day, we know watching the show, what's printed on the card is one thing, and it may not be like an exact interpretation of the word. So for me, it's really the ultimate journey of where it lands you, right? And for me, I would want that. I would want to just feel fulfilled and happy at the end of that road, whatever that is. And I would hope my vision wouldn't be as dark as my characters this season, like, because this season, instead of just the car, we're also getting these visions from the Morpho Machine. So cast is pretty interesting, but I would hope, even if it was a dark, crazy, weird, vision, that ultimately I would be smart enough and passionate enough and adventurous enough to go on the journey to figure it out.
Yeah. I think maybe I'd be like Hana and just not have a card. I'd be like, I opt out of this experiment for now.
I love that. Thank you both so much. I can't wait for everybody to see season 2 exclusively on Apple TV+.
Thank
you. Bye.
Have a great day.
You too.
You too.
Gabrielle, Dennis, and Ali Maki. They're so great in the Big Door Prize, and I can't wait for you to see it. Again, once you watch it, hit me up on socials. Let's talk about it. Reddit, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever it is you are, I am too. Just find me. All right. Last but not least, it's Josh Segarra and Chris Dowd. Of course, I already gave Chris his intro earlier in the show. Josh Segarra, if you don't know, originated the role of Emilio Estefan in the Broadway show On Your Feet, which, of course, was based on the lives and music of 26-time Grammy Award-winning husband and wife team Gloria and Emilio Estefan. Of course, I've interviewed Gloria a couple of times here on this show. Josh also played Danny in Scream 6. He was amazing in that. Stefanovic in Orange is the New Black. He was Pug, Augustus Pug Puglisi in She-Hulk Attorney at Law. And, of course, he's Giorgio in The Big Door Prize. So let's talk with Josh Segarra and Chris O'Dowd. Josh and Chris, thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. First of all, congratulations on season 2. I love it. And it takes the series in exciting new directions. And this is hard because I'm trying to be as spoiler-free as possible.
Don't tell them about the earthquake, Josh.
For both of you, what is it like when you have amazing source material? Season 1 was incredible. How does it feel as an actor when you're kind of going into uncharted waters in some ways?
It's exciting. That's one of the best things about what we get to do is reading those scripts, getting that email that says your name and tells you what title of the episode it is, and you just fly through it. You start getting some questions answered, and that's what's been so good about season 2 is that we left some big questions unanswered at the end of season 1. So season 2, I think you're starting to get some of those things that we were all yearning for. Are you kidding me? I was sitting there with Dave and with Sarah just being like, what do the blue dots mean?
And how about for you, Chris?
I mean, it's always fun sitting down to read the new episodes because we don't really know what's going to happen, and it's kind of interesting. Obviously you're curious as to what you're going to do yourself, but also what all of these other characters are going to be at, because there's so much kind of mystery in the show increasingly in terms of where did this thing come from? Is there an end thing here? And we find out more from the Morpho Machine in season 2. It gives us another little insight into our potential futures through this vision, and it's kind of fun watching that play out.
If you had a Morpho Machine, and I've thought about this a lot, I'm sure both of you have as well. If you had your own Morpho Machine, would you want to know? Would you go to it?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. I wonder what... I feel like... I will add a caveat, though. I just hope that it doesn't make me nervous. I hope it only solidifies where I'd want to go. Like if I got theme park designer, I'd be stoked about that. I grew up in Orlando. I love theme parks. I love smelling the churros getting cooked. I like seeing the way they design the line structure on the way to the roller coaster. Are you kidding me? I'd be stoked if I knew that.
And how about for you, Chris?
I would say chocolate machine maintenance man. Want to see if it fits on the card, right? Always curious as to how low they can go with the font.
Absolutely.
And also, I feel like you being around. I've got a lot of Willy Wonka fantasies.
Absolutely.
And I'd like to see them play out.
I did that thing that you do in high school, like the career aptitude thing. And it said that I would either be janitorial services or a clergy, which I think is really interesting and completely off the mark from what I do. But that's nothing like, a Morpho Machine. But I find it interesting that both of you are your choices, your hopeful choices are both in the creative kind of fields, a theme park designer and, working with like a chocolate fountain machine.
Chocolate machine maintenance man.
Yeah, I mean, there's an art to that, though. And there's also delicious, food. Like, I'll be your tester if you need. But thank you both very much. Congrats on season 2. And I can't wait for everybody to see it.
Thank you very much.
Josh Segarra and Chris O'Dowd. Love those guys. Love The Big Door Prize Season 2, which is out right now on Apple TV Plus. Probably my favorite streaming service. Just everything they do is like top notch. Let me know what you think about The Big Door Prize Season 2 on Apple TV Plus and The Stranger on Hulu with Dane DeHaan. Hit me up on socials at KMac Music or Real Kyle McMahon or Pop Culture Weekly. Search one of them and you'll find me on your favorite social network. That's it for this week. We got some great stuff coming up next week and in the next month or so that I'm excited to share with you. Hit me up. Let me know what you think. I'll talk to you soon. I love you. We out.
Thank you for listening to Pop Culture Weekly. Hear all the latest at popcultureweekly.com.